Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday Comic Book Hangover Show. I am Nate, joined as always by my lovely and well-rested host, Hagan. And our guest today is Ricky from All Sorts of Words. Ricky, thanks for being here. Good morning. How are you guys doing? I don't believe him.
So Hagen, you're not a morning person? I'm all the way up.
Not even slightly. I would rather stay awake to 5 a.m. rather than wake up to 5 a.m. 100%.
My limit is 2 o'clock, and I'm chiefing.
Yeah. I used to be very much a night owl, but getting up early for work. I'm still not a morning person, but it is harder to stay up late. So yeah, this isn't terribly early though. I mean, I get up at 5:30 through the week, which is really stupid. There are some folks I want to say good morning to before we get started. It is Mother's Day. So, JSS is right. Call your mom, send your mom a text, if you're not going to see your mom. So thanks JSS. And for the moms who aren't here, yeah, that's a rough one. That definitely is something that's happening the older that I get for all the people that I know.
It's still Mother's Day. I'm sure they'd appreciate their being remembered.
It absolutely is. Good morning, Robert Belazard. Morning to Stevie D. Good morning to Kay Munin, giving his Mother's Day wishes. Morning to Michael, just Michael. There is Himbo. Love to see that guy in the chat strutting this stuff. Matt from Matt Likes Comics. Holy cow. Terry from across the sea. Good morning, Terry. Hayden, the Next Gen Collector. Matt again. And Comic Mike is here.
Look at all these heathens.
I know. People who wake up early and say, I want to watch comic stuff.
Surprise, it's church.
You guys do everything different over there, Terry. Got your own names for things. Yeah. So Ricky, you're amped. You're to 10.
I'm in it.
And just what's going on with you, man?
So I was telling Nate before we started. Okay, you know when you wake up, you stub your toe, then you get sick, and then your boss yells at you at work, and then you get home and your favorite show got canceled. Like all the bad things happening at once. Everything in my life is just thrilling right now. It's just great. Everything's great. Every TV show I'm watching is fire. Every book I'm reading is life-changing. Like food tastes better. Like I'm sleeping great.
That's what I was gonna ask. How are you sleeping,
dude? Everything. The answer to everything is good. Everything's great.
And the joys of microdosing. You love to see it.
Yeah. I'm freshly baked. We're great. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Is a part of that because you did just say like you're on a break for work now.
I'm on a break from my second job. So my main job is I work administratively for a college, fully remote. It's unheard of in terms of like job satisfaction. And then on top of that, I teach for the same university, humanities. So perspectives in the humanities. I've been teaching it since 2021. I am. Everything's brighter. But yeah, so I'm also on a break. Like literally, like how's your back, dude? Everything's awesome. It's glorious.
I love that for you. I really do. I hope to join you in bliss here in a few weeks.
We'll all get there, I promise.
Yeah. Hey, Rich just snuck in, and Cliff.
And then we got boys. And then Hagen's gonna be like, I haven't slept in 6 weeks.
I didn't go to bed until 10 minutes ago, and then my alarm went off.
I got a 23. I got my 23andMe back, and my heritage is migraine. Apparently, this was my destiny.
Oh, holy cow.
Not quite. I am super happy for you, though, dude. Like I'm glad that everything is on the up for you. That's got to be like a really good feeling.
Dude, it's random. It's to the point where, and we were talking about it because like Nate asked if like, hey dude, do you want to like come on the show? And I was like, dude, the book I'm reading is amazing. I'm watching like 8 TV shows. All of them are great. Like everything is just, I don't know, all the media I'm consuming is good, which like it makes you realize like how much of an impact good storytelling actually has on you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you read a good book and you're just like, this is like, you're on another planet.
Yes. Yeah. So
I know that I know that your last video was about like don't accept recommendations, but
but
because I've been living that way of like someone's like, hey, watch this show that I really like so I can talk to you, and it's like, no, I'm watching the things that really interest me. You know what I mean? So it feels like you're just eating your favorite food.
I 100% get that. I treat recommendations, or I feel about them, I think differently than you do, which is that like it is hard for me to step outside of my comfort zone. Like if given the choice, like between the catalog of streaming services that I have versus like I would rather watch the last 4 episodes of The Good Place over and over and over again rather than like branch out and look for something new.
Also, ironic choice for what you're saying.
Yeah, but recommendations help me, especially from people that like I know their tastes, so I know like what exactly I'm going to get. And so I'm curious about what you've been reading.
I wanted to say something along those lines. Like I always consider the source. So if Ricky's into it,
Sure.
I'm more likely to take a chance on it. But like, so okay, I'm at the orthodontist the other day. All right, and this song comes on the radio.
And 2:30.
I don't know what time this was, but the song was called "Fancy Like Applebee's," and it's a country song about going to Applebee's and Wendy's. And I have actually watched there's a YouTube channel called "What Makes This Song Stink," and he's done one on it. And I just had never really listened to it without someone making fun of it, and I'm just like, I hated it. Now it's not for me, right? But that's what I think is like, that is something that is for a mass consumer audience. So when some people come up to me and say, hey, do you want to check out I love this one show, I'm just like, okay, but do you like that Applebee's song? Because it depends on if you like that, maybe I don't want to check out your recommendation. But if
the pitfall of that is sometimes everybody's right. Like it really is. So like the book that I'm reading, interestingly, talks about that. How like when the book was written, I think it was like 1840, it came out and this guy was famous for Stephen Kinging. He was famous for pumping out books every year. And so like when the book came out and it went over like gangbusters, people were like, dude, like it's just trash. It's just trash. And now it's one of the most beloved novels of all time. But like it's because everybody liked it, and like the critics at the time were like, "No, I don't want to."
Sure.
So yeah, sometimes you do miss out, and I will admit, sometimes I do miss out on really good shit.
So what are you reading? What has got you jazzed?
I've been reading. Okay, here's the math. I've been reading 50 pages a day, every day, in size 8 font. So it's a really small script. It's from the 1840s. And so every day for 50 days for a week, and I am only about 15% through of The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh,
okay.
I love reading the classics. Every now and then you just like if you watch my stuff or me show up on stuff like this, periodically you'll see me be like, oh yeah, I'm reading Moby Dick. I really do like the classics. And this is just like, so that's what happened. Alexander Dumas, they were telling his autobiography or his biography in the beginning of the book. And it was, and in the last year of his life, he really slowed down, only writing 8 novels, 16 plays, and 23 treatises. And he really slowed down in his 70th year. And so he pumped out this bad boy, and it was so popular with like youth. It's like such a swashbuckling story, and it's got like twists and turns in it that I didn't expect to exist in classic literature. Like there's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Oh, I didn't see that coming. That like it went over like gangbusters, and the critics were like, oh, if it's popular, if kids are reading it, it must suck. But then like obviously almost 200 years later, and we're talking about it now. So
do you think that's like a disconnect between were critics more aristocracy in that era, and then this was for the populace?
Yeah, so most people forget like the history, because everybody's talking about the Pope right now. The history of the church is fascinating. If you just like, it tells a lot about them that like they would like you to forget, but they're open about their history, so it's kind of nice in that regard. They're at least not hiding it. But like one thing was they had their Bible in Roman, and then they would read it out loud in Roman and then tell you what they thought it meant, but not giving you the exact words. And they also wouldn't let you take the text home. Like, if you want to experience Bible, you have to one night only.
Right,
Bible.
right.
And so like you had to come and watch the show. But like, you know, when you give people the text, it makes it more accessible and people can form their own opinions. And so it was very much like that attitude carried over into criticism in the 19th century. People being like, you don't know what's good. So, okay. Last thing I'm ranting about. I know it's really early. I want someone else to talk. The Supreme Court. Bear with me. The Supreme Court.
So the Pope kick flipping into the Supreme Court.
Listen, the Supreme Court only calls things in 3 ways. This is like the way that the philosophy of the court works. I call it like I see it. I call it like it is. And it's nothing until I call it. And that's the 3 philosophies of being a judge. There's no 4th way. That's the call it like I see it. I call it like it is. It's nothing until I call it. And critics in the 19th century were very much of that opinion. It is nothing until I call it. It doesn't exist until I call it. Because like they still had that kind of church-like attitude. See, we're going backwards.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like that church-like attitude. So yeah, I do think that's it.
No, I love that for a comic book show, we just went back to, you know, 17th century France.
It's all related, man. Like art there's no art created in a vacuum.
No,
everything goes back to the Crusades and the Battle of Hastings. That's what I learned in AP English.
Women pick on us right now in memes saying like, how many times a day does your husband mention the Roman Empire? Like
Laurel and I talked about that yesterday.
She's like, my wife was like, how often do you think about it? I'm like twice a day.
Well, I always find, I mean, you know, with any writers, and Ricky, you are an author, and I think you might want to talk about that some, but any author is well read and they read everything. And so like these classics, even if you don't read them, like you said, everything comes back. It permeates into things that we read. You know, Sandman had so many literary callbacks, and that's because Neil Gaiman read so much and was so into consuming things and turning those into stories. So that's your book. Is that all you're reading? Because that's heavy. Do you have any, like when I'm reading something heavy, I usually like to have something on the side to take my mind off of that.
I'll be done at the pace I'm going, and as much as I'm enjoying it. Like sometimes I'm not going to lie, I've read classics that I'm like, I can see why this is challenging. I really enjoyed Moby Dick, sincerely. Not trying to be a smart guy. Like I really enjoyed it sincerely. It is a exhaustive examination of the whaling industry in the 19th century.
Right.
So like if you took the entire book of Moby Dick, this much of it is narrative.
Right.
Of like guy on boat with crazy captain. It's seriously like 200 pages of like 1,600 pages. But I find it really interesting. So as much as I'm enjoying it, I anticipate I'll have this done in 5 weeks. Like a book of this size for me, at least, because I am a slow reader. I enjoy stopping and being like, that was good.
Yeah.
I do want to drink in as much as I can. But consequently, I'm a slow reader. However, Superman season's upon us. And
yes, it is.
This is for a very particular comic book nerd. Okay. Can you make me big for a second?
Absolutely.
This is for a very particular comic book nerd. For the man who's read All-Star Superman and now says, but what's second place? What's the second best Superman story that you can enjoy that I can get in, get out, and go on with my life, but really have a good time? And that is Jeff Johns, again, because he's a genius, and Gary Frank's Superman Secret Origin.
Okay.
This is a 6-issue series. This is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're done. You can probably read it online. This is Gary Frank. Gary Frank is particular in that he draws Clark Kent to look like an aged down Christopher Reeve.
Well,
And
when
then
he's a real little child, though, I don't think he looks aged down enough. It's the
sure,
kids are a little creepy in that one,
but then
but
when we become an
yes,
adult, that's clearly
it's
Christopher Reeve.
so
That's
Mhm.
so
clearly
good.
him, obviously. And then like, I mean, look at the goddamn, and even the posture, the like knuckles by
Oh
his
yeah,
side. I'm not
yeah.
making fists. I'm just here to help. This is effectively this is a imagine if you're reading a Superman story where it's like Superman is a kid. Here's a day in the life. Here's what the adventure that he goes through. 7 years later, now Superman's a teenager. This is a day in his life. This is what it's like. 7 years later, now he's in the middle of college, and there's moments of such humanity in this story. There's one scene where Clark, when he gets excited, when he loses control, there are physical consequences that are quite dangerous. So like his heat vision blew a hole in the wall when a girl randomly kissed him. And
Right.
it is very like male create. You know what I mean? Like you like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
like Superman, what does it look like when Superman rocket jizzes in his pants, puts a hole in the wall? Um so
I was going to ask if we got the Hancock scene. Like I was gonna ask.
yeah, so yeah, a little bit like Scary Movie 2. Um no, so but there's moments of humanity. So that consequently, because he can't lose control, he's living that speech that he gives at the end of Justice League Unlimited. For those of you who haven't seen it, Superman's had enough of Doomsday's bullshit. Look it up. Superman versus Doomsday, Justice League Unlimited. It's the cartoon show. The finale of the series was Superman grabbing Darkseid by the collar and going, I have to live like I'm in a world made of cardboard. Anything I touch, I could destroy. And I have to be careful. And then he pulls him in close and he goes, but you can take it, can't you? So what we have is a rare opportunity for me to show you just how strong I am. And he rips him in half. And it is amazing to see, like, what does Superman look like when he's had it? Like, I can't. Because the thing is, people say Superman doesn't kill. Superman has to kill. Superman has to kill because he is an adult in a room full of children. And with us, if I'm robbing a bank, he's the adult. He has to grab me and de-escalate the situation. He teaches me better because he's the grown-up. What if he's the adult in the room full of children and another adult comes in? I can't reason. I have to stop you from hurting these kids. How do I do it? And if you keep getting up and if you really are strong enough to beat me, and the consequence of that is them dying, you have to die. Superman has killed a bunch of times, and every time it's been necessary. Like he's the last line of defense. You don't want him to use the military option, but he has to.
Right.
But he's learning those lessons in these books. And so there's a lot of human moments. Like he doesn't get to go to prom with Lana, the girl that he's like learning he has affection for. And his parents have dropped him off at prom, and he's a wallflower sitting on the wall watching Lana Lang getting her dance that, you know, maybe could have been his. And it cuts to like a little speech bubble of his parents talking in the car. And it says, don't worry, nothing can hurt that boy. Beautiful shit. But like, that's what
Yeah.
you get in here.
Okay. I need to reread. I have that one. I've read it. I need to reread that one. I started reading. What is the one that Max Landis wrote?
American
Um,
Alien.
Yeah, that one. There's some fun there too. Not the
Mhm.
same.
Max Landis is great.
Yeah. Very funny writer. So I want to ask you two Superman questions because you are a Superman fan. The first is I have heard you say before that, you know, the default is Superman is about hope. And you kind of, I feel like you don't completely agree with that, or you have more to say about that. So if Superman is not hope, or what, you know, what would you say to people who say that?
Superman is, I mean, ostensibly, at least, the S on his chest in later interpretations is, well, our family symbol means hope. That's a relatively modern invention for Superman.
Right.
Like it wasn't like he came from the planet Krypton and his symbol means hope. Like it wasn't like that. That was something that was added on later. In the beginning, actually, you didn't even see his landing on Earth. It was later issues of Origin, like Action Comics 1, like it'll be like you'll see an explosion on a panel and it'll be like his planet exploded, but that's it. You didn't go there. You didn't meet his dad. You don't even meet his dad until the first appearance of Superboy in More Fun Comics 101. But yeah, so ostensibly he means hope, but he has the okay. So it's easy to say he's a Jesus allegory, right? Like there's this figure that's all powerful and defends us and fights for us. The Jesus allegory continues, though, a little bit deeper the more you know about either Superman or Jesus, and hopefully a little bit of both, literarily at least. But Jesus is burdened with sin. He's burdened with the weight of sin. So the sins that, at least in the Baptist interpretation, the sins that we've created in our lives, like I lied on a test, I stole a paper, I robbed a bank, I cheated on my wife, like everything that you've done that you felt guilt over is a sin. At least in, I mean, even the Catholic interpretation, I suppose, of the washing away of sins. Christ paid for our sins, the debt, the emotional debt of our sins with his blood. That is the core filament running through Superman. He pays for the dumb shit that we do with his body. And because of that position he's in, narratively, you had to give him a body that could endure. So he is invulnerable, ostensibly. He is faster than we can even act, and all of these things. And it's almost like Star Trek in the way that, like, people always ask, like,
I love it. Yeah.
People
Make
always
the connection.
They ask, like, what's the, you're like, why is Star Trek so good? It's not as exciting as Star Wars. There's not as much fighting. What's going on? It's because it's really a thought experiment. What stories can you derive from a perfect society? Food's no longer an issue. Money's no longer an issue. There's no such thing as Republicans and Democrats. Everybody comes together, works for the common good, and freedom is sacrosanct. Like, do whatever you want with your body, but you don't get to tell him what he gets to do with his either. It's a perfect utopia. But what type of stories do you get in that universe? And so that's where you come from. Like, okay, how do they maintain this peace? How do they bring this peace to other cultures? And that's where Star Trek is. Superman is very much in the same way, in that you have this experiment of an invulnerable human being. All humans are squishy sacks of meat who get our feelings hurt really easy. What happens when you have a person that is presumably invulnerable to the things that make us human? Well, the answer in Superman's case is he becomes the most human possible. You know how, like, Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler, is always like, I wish I could look different. Rogue is always the same way. I wish I could be different. Superman wishes to just take his powers away and be like us. I wish I could be like you. But he has this responsibility of being able to solve problems that we can't solve for ourselves. So he kind of like creates this bubble around human culture. It says, like, you can vote for who you want. You can do what you want. It's your society. But, like, I'm going to protect you from the things that you can't protect yourselves from. And I'm going to protect you from each other when I can, with, Coach Carter style speeches. So he is hope, but the Christ-like allegory goes deeper than people think.
Yeah, our friend Dope from Dope Comics, he had made a statement once that really stuck with me about that he always thought Superman was boring because Superman was perfect and Superman was strong and invulnerable. But that as he became a father and his son would wake up in the night and he would have to help his son with medication and things like that, he started to see the burden of doing the right thing, the burden of responsibility and caring for people. And the last thing he said, being Superman is hard. And that's the part I think that gets lost a lot when people say Superman is boring. Like, Superman's boring because he can do anything, but he doesn't do everything he could or everything that he would want to. And that's the hard part. Like, he's always trying to do the best thing. And the best thing is letting people be responsible for themselves, even though he knows better, he knows, and there's just that burden of not, like you said, not taking over, not being the one to make the rules. And if he could take all of his powers away and just be normal, that burden's gone from him.
I had the same sort of opinion as that when I was growing up. I always thought that Superman was really boring because because there were a lot of Superman comics in dollar bins, and that's where I looked.
Yeah.
All the comics that I read of him, I just kept thinking, because I was also watching like Justice League Unlimited, like he's not in any danger. Like he could just win, you know, like he could just choose to win at any given time. And I still kind of do think that that's true with like the fighty problems that he has. But I was reading, Ricky, on your recommendation, I was reading through Superman Red and Blue, and if you view Superman as purely like a good guy fighting bad guy, I think that it is kind of boring. But if you view it as like as ideological battles, like if you view Superman as literally like the soul of humanity trying to endure like these challenges, I think it becomes much more interesting. But yeah, like I do think that if you view it purely as who can punch harder, there's not anybody that can punch harder than Superman.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, like if he was, and I don't want to like shit on Spider-Man fans, but like Spider-Man
I don't want to shit on Spider-Man fans, but yeah. I'm about to shit
let me unbuckle my pants really quickly. I'm not gonna, I promise. Spider-Man has the same like problem as Superman. He's like, I have the strength to fix these things, and he's so overwhelmed all of the time. Like he's just overwhelmed. Like I had to skip dinner and all this stuff. Now take Spider-Man in your head and give him the speed of Superman, and all of a sudden Peter Parker's problems go away. He solves the bank robbery at 8:59 and 59 seconds, and then he's completely dressed at dinner with Mary Jane. Hey, how you doing? Like a lot of his life gets easier. So Superman has that like that personal life problem solved to an extent until you add in his super hearing and the fact that like now I'm at the movies with Lois and I'm holding her hand because she needs my time. She's a valuable member of my life and I love her dearly. And now you're looking at her deep in her eyes. She's about to kiss you and you can hear screaming children in Uganda burn in a hut that you could stop right now, but you don't. Like there's a burden that is so big. Peter Parker's burden is largely selfish. Because if he just tell the people in his life that the most that he loves, like the Mary Janes, the Aunt Mays, the Flash Thompsons, tell your best friends, and then they will understand. Your core group is preserved. But like, he's always, oh, gee whiz, they're mad at me again. And it's just like, it's self-inflicted. Like you just tell your friends. Superman does. He tells the people closest to them. They find out pretty early on. Except for Lois Lane. Lois Lane had to wait like 50 years.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't even know if that'll make Ricky mad, Justin.
I'm only saying this because you're shooting his fire. Oh, I don't.
That's a bad take. If you would have said One Punch Man, like that, I get. One Punch Man and Superman to me are like allegories. Superman's the guy with no limits. Goku's the one that breaks every limit that he has, but he still gets his ass kicked every episode.
And it also like but the problem with that superpower of breaking every limit, it sucks when like your limit is your wife being like, hey, can you stay for dinner? And he's like, breaking the limits, and then he like runs out of the room. And it's like, I really needed you for dinner. Hey Goku, can you like take Gohan to the mall? And he's like, breaking the limits, and he just runs away.
Ultra Instinct is not faster than marital issues. I promise you that.
He can't outrun them. Yeah, Goku. Goku is, no. Mm-mm. No. I don't believe it.
I have another Superman question / comment, and it's somewhat of a hot take, I think. I'm still digesting it, and it may get me in trouble.
Okay.
But we're getting ready, Superman, James Gunn Superman coming out this summer. Could not be more excited. So to get ready, my son has never seen the classic Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. So this weekend we watched the first Superman movie, and I like Christopher Reeve so much in that movie as Clark Kent and Superman. I don't think I like the movie anymore. Like I like what he does, but there are huge parts of this movie that like just don't work for me. I'm trying to look at it. I keep telling myself I'm looking at it through the lens of when it was made, right? So let me start. Krypton goes on for 40 minutes in the beginning. Marlon Brando talks for 40 minutes, and it could be summed up in 4. Like, it's not necessary for him to my son, I put you in it goes
They
on.
paid for Marlon Brando.
I know.
They're gonna use their Marlon Brando.
Oh, and do they use it? And I noticed on Krypton, like, because Marlon Brando is Jor-El, every other actor is like 60 plus, it seems like. Like there's no young people on the planet.
Yeah, I think that was in his contract. I will be the youngest.
I think so.
I'll be the
So
youngest.
then when you know when the big parts of when the meat of the movie happens, it was fine. I say I don't like it. It's just I do, but I think if it had it been anybody but Christopher Reeve, I don't know if it would have worked.
It's not so literally like, and I know this sounds like heresy, but I'll join you on a little Superman Christopher Reeve's heresy. I think there's an edit of that movie that's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is all of the heart, all of cut Lex Luthor out, cut the 100%. Villainy out. All the like you keep the montage in the middle of where he's like quickly catching criminals and stuff. You know what I mean? That little montage.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And have his interview with Lois, and then him just kind of flying off. Like you could do that movie. I bet you could do that movie in 25 minutes.
It's like Topher Grace wants to take all 3 prequels and turn it into. I've heard he's got a cut of that out there somewhere that actually makes it watchable.
Yep.
But I agree, and that's the thing is like the parts that work are really good, but it is a 3-hour movie, and so
the opening credits with the opening credits.
Yes.
It's 7.5 minutes long, and you're like, this. I could get popcorn. I could run home real quick and check on the dog.
I kept having to tell my son, like, this was made a long time ago. This was made like, well, right after your dad was born. Yeah. Okay, this thing is old.
It makes Marvel movies look like Shakespeare.
Oh yeah. So
like in terms of entertainment.
And you also got to think like when they made it, even though it came out like right around the same time as Star Wars, they didn't have that kind of, they didn't have the special effects. This was the first like big sci-fi superhero movie that I can think of. But at the end, when the earthquake happens and Lois's car goes into the thing and she dies, and then he flies off. First, he goes up into the clouds and Brando shows up again. And we laughed out loud because Brando's head, my son, was like, oh my God.
It's like he does like a Mufasa.
Yes. He's just in the cloud. But he starts, spoiler, Lois dies and Superman flies around the world backwards, which doesn't knock Earth off of its rotation and kill everybody. For some reason, it makes time go backwards. My 10-year-old son started laughing hysterically. Like he was like, what is this? That even he knew, this is not how this is going to work. So, and that's the other thing I'll say about the movie was that like, because of that, the ending didn't have the impact. You're right. All of the heart and the good stuff is in the middle, but, and Christopher Reeve.
I like the beginning segment too, when he's like in school.
Yes.
And like Pa Kent dies. Like I like all of that. The one person he can't save. It's a very early lesson on in Clark's life that you can't save everybody.
It's very important.
Learned it with
you also can't save a bus full of kids if they're
gonna rat you out.
Yeah.
Well, if those little rats are gonna say some shit, you should let them drown. Assume the worst, kid.
What is the life of a child anyway?
Not my problem.
I mean, so I wasn't sure how to word that, because I haven't seen it in years, and we've been telling our son like, oh, both of us, my wife and I, like, oh, I loved this movie when I was a kid, and so when we're watching, it's like, wow, I remember this very differently. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Is this when I say that I haven't seen any of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies?
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna announce it here. I'm gonna make a 30-minute cut for you, Hagen. I'm gonna download that movie. I'm gonna edit it down to 30 minutes, and there's gonna be the Ricky cut, and it's gonna be the best version of that movie you've ever seen. It is
Superman circumcised.
Yeah, Superman. Superman in the cold water. Yeah.
And I agree. Christopher Reeve's acting was so good. Like every tone he tried to hit was spot on. And he did. I love his, go back to All-Star Superman, Frank Quitely, the way he depicts Clark versus the way he depicts Superman, like draws him very differently. Christopher Reeve did that in the movie. Like, Christopher Reeve created two very different characters, two very different voices, two very different ways of carrying himself so well. Like, you should watch the movie just for his performance. And because, now if it's going to be a superhero movie, we're going to get that scene where the guy hasn't eaten anything but steamed chicken breast for 2 weeks, and he's been pumped full of steroids so that he's completely just, Hugh Jackman cut for that one shirt off scene. Thor had it. Wolverine has it.
See, that's okay.
He's just a good looking guy, and that's built normally.
That's a complaint I've had about the characterization of Superman for a really, really, really long time. That okay, so if you read All-Star Superman, the very first issue, they joke they had him bench press the planet Earth, the weight of the planet Earth times 1,000. And he did it for 72 hours straight just so they could get a single bead of sweat to analyze. Yeah. This man doesn't exert himself. He would have softer, rounded edges. He would not be shredded. He would be this kind of big, burly he would look like, if you look at the older drawings of Superman, he's kind of he's a strong man. He's got a wide chest, barrel chested, but I'm not seeing abs on this dude. He'd look more like Brock Lesnar than anything else.
Yeah.
Sorry, ladies, but this is the peak male form.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
I guess you don't like America.
That's right.
So okay,
because what's more attractive than telling a woman, "Don't worry, it's okay. I look like how Superman should look."
Yeah.
There are several issues with that.
God, you're so right though. The truth is, because he doesn't exert himself, he wouldn't have muscle tone. He would actually be kind of a lump.
If I had any sort of drawing talent, DC Comics, feel free to steal this idea. I would be drawing Batman as this absolute fucking unit.
Yeah.
Muscles on muscles that we thought we'd evolved beyond having. And then you'd have Superman 210 pounds soaking wet. And then that's the dynamic. 6.5 foot tall, muscle bound creep who stays up all night and punches runaways. And then this symbol of hope who's more Christ-like. He's got muscles, but he has a leaner body. And then that's the dynamic. I can move a planet with my sneeze, and you could look like you could hurl me.
Guy in cape eating KFC bucket of chicken versus just jacked
in the movie theater. No one's gonna say anything. The whole room smells like a fucking KFC now, and no one's gonna say shit. This guy's enormous. He has to pay for 2 tickets on an airplane.
He's got two of the reclining seats. I need the one where the bar goes up in the middle.
He takes the he takes the handicap seat, and the guy with the wheelchair is like, "That's fine. I'll see a different showing. It's fine. It's perfectly fine."
He's not eating the meat off the bone. It's bones and all. Just crunching right through it.
In the movie, it's the loudest crunching sound you ever heard.
Yeah. That's KFC extra crispy when you eat the fucking bones with it too.
And then you're like, "Oh, thank God, he's finished." And then the second bucket comes out.
No, because he's got the super. He it's the he just comes back at super speed with a second bucket.
The whole second bucket.
Because he
No,
doesn't want it to get cold.
See, Clark strikes me as the guy who would keep a bucket in like his cargo shorts pocket. Like I don't think he would, even at super speed, like leaving the theater, I think he would think would be rude. But like having a second bucket in your cargo shorts. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
So fucking stupid.
I love it. I have not watched Superman 2
Please don't. Stop
like
at one. Just stop at one.
equal amount of time.
Stop at one.
So stop at one.
Stop at one. There's literally like watch a YouTube call. I won't even touch that movie to make an edit. There's no saving it. They're just not good.
I am so watching it.
The first
because I love movie.
The further you go, they make less and less sense. By the time you get to Richard Pryor, he's explaining, like someone's like, wait, how did you hack the system? In case you don't remember, they hired comedian Richard Pryor to pretend to be a hacker in a Superman movie. But like he explains it, they're like, oh, how do you hack so well? And he goes like, I don't know. I just look at computers and I just kind of get it. And you're like, that's not how anything works. That's none of that.
And that's the movie where they're trying to make kryptonite, and he just randomly puts in a ingredient from the package of cigarettes that he's smoking. Like there's so much Marlboro in Superman 2 that I remember. A lot of Marlboro advertisements everywhere. And 4 I have actually watched pretty recently with my friend Eric. We had ourselves a bad movie
that's
day.
with Sunman, right?
That's with Sunman. And that guy's got these long nails.
It's not even that. Superman gets punched into a wall and he gets up and walks away and uses brick vision to fix the wall.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, is it Superman 2 where he throws the shield? Like takes the shield off his chest and throws it, and it wraps someone up like cellophane.
So like with the, I'm even making fun of brick vision. I'm selling brick vision as something ridiculous, but if you know anything about Silver Age Superman, like
super ventriloquism, baby,
all brick vision. He's got brick visions coming out of his fingers.
He's got rainbow fingers.
He's got rainbow fingers. Superman's got some wacky powers in the Silver Age because they're like, well, he's Superman, so I guess he could do, anything he thought of. And he does anything he thinks of. It isn't until they have to face like, how do we kill him in the 90s when we started to create like a physiological canon for what he can and can't do and what can and can't kill him. And even then they immediately break it with more Superman Silver Age bullshit. Like, because they kill him and they're like, oh, it wasn't that Doomsday was punching him. It was that he had poison in his claws. And so as he's fighting Superman's getting weaker. That's how he died, because you can't punch Superman to death. But then Superman didn't die. Superman went to sleep, because when a Kryptonian gets beat up real good, they go into like a regenerative hypersleep, and then which looks like death. And then
it's very well known. It's been studied in all the journals.
Oh, you haven't heard.
you haven't
heard of Kryptonian hypersleep.
This guy.
And of course, when they do wake up, they have to split into at least two aspects. You need a red electric guy and a blue electric guy to come back.
Yeah, but I like it when they get weird with his powers in smart ways. Like
that's true. I
like it when it's not stupid.
I like it when it's not stupid. There's an animated movie. I'm gonna find the name of it. It's Superman and the Others, or Superman and the.
Oh yeah, what is?
It's the name of the bad guy group that he has to deal with.
Superman I can't remember.
And the.
Is that the one with the dude who wears the Union Jack shirt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you might be about to talk about it, but there is a super cool like Superman.
Wasn't that a Justice League Unlimited?
It was a direct to DVD movie, but it was also a retelling of something that did happen in the comics. Superman versus the Elite, 2012.
Right.
Superman is fighting a villain who has psychic powers. Psychic powers always seem to bring him low. There's another villain called Chalk. It spells it weird, but he uses psychic powers too. Blank, Blanque, who he wrecks Superman shit, and he has superpowers. He has psychic powers. But yeah, so anyway, this Union Jack character, he has psychic powers, and he can to the ability where he can hit Superman and make him bleed. Like, that's how strong his psychic punches are. And then he can do all the psychic waves and all the shit, but it's almost like a physicality. Kind of like Elfen Lied, if you like that anime. But he's telling Superman, he's like, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to be number one, and I'm going to bring my brand of justice, which is to kill people. And the government's been backing him, so he's emboldened by that. And Superman looks through his retina and focuses a laser beam magnified by his retina, so it doesn't burn anything in the air. It just hits his eye, and then he literally like lobotomizes the thing that's giving him the psychic powers in his brain. And he's like, I just took your powers away. Like, that's cool. Like, that's weird sciencey shit. It's not throwing your symbol or brick building with your eyeballs, but like that's a real cool application of his power.
Congratulations, I just made you a Kennedy.
Oh, that's a deep cut. So I think I still am. I'm gonna go back and watch the other Supermans. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna finish them, but I'm gonna at least give Zod a
Ricky, can I get your reaction to this sentence, please?
Look, unless and until they have like a scene where Superman and Sonic are soaking their feet in a bathtub and you can see their big stinky feet, like I'm not interested. Like, give me what I want Sonic to be, which is like a foot fetish furry porn, and I'm fine. But any attempt at a story
already that
I know, but
very
like,
much
in the DC when they said it's like, okay, DC and Sonic coming out, I was like, great, I better see some stinky little piggies.
That's right. Darkseid's here. Everyone get your boots off.
Darkseid's like, I bet I have stinkier feet than you.
Yeah. My stinky toes are so powerful. Oh no.
I almost bought the Darkseid cover one just because, like, I love, ridiculous, stupid shit, and it was so peak. But
if I get it, if I find it in a back issue bin,
that's exactly what I told myself.
I cannot directly monetarily vote for that. I can't do it.
Yeah, because and I just read like 4 months ago read like DC Kong Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
dreadful. Ugh. And so like I can only imagine that like, and I care about Godzilla like genuinely. And so then like for like a character I don't care about, I feel like I'd be disinterested over dumb bullshit way earlier than like me enduring Godzilla just to see panels of Godzilla. Like
you made it through the whole thing.
I did.
You read the whole thing?
I did. I mean, if I buy it, I read it, and I would not let myself quit for something I buy.
I mean, like, I bought the first two, read them, and after the second issue, I was like, absolutely not.
This is really, really bad.
I don't care.
Yeah. Although the only thing that I thought was cool, because everything has something cool in it. The only thing I thought was cool was I would have never thought of the connection between Kong and Supergirl. But the comic made it so natural, and you're like, oh, Kong has like a type. He sees the blonde woman in King Kong, the original movie, and he's immediately infatuated, and he's like, he doesn't want to hurt her. He's just like, wow, you're like a beautiful thing I want to like hold. And then immediately in Kong versus DC, Supergirl runs into Kong, and it's instantaneous, and he's like, oh, he's like smitten with her. And so like he listens to her. It's weird, but it's like I would have never thought to draw that deep of a connection between the source material and DC. I wouldn't have thought of that, and I thought that was clever.
Tangentially, I did see yesterday that they have wrapped shooting Supergirl, so that'll be next year's exciting movie. I hope
she's supposed to be in this Superman movie.
Oh,
with every
really?
other DC character that's ever existed, apparently.
Yes. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of quick surprise cameos. If you haven't seen Peacemaker season 2 released a teaser trailer just yesterday or the day before, and Guy Gardner and Hawkwoman from the Superman movie are in it. And I wasn't sold on Guy Gardner, like the way it looks. I don't like the costume so much, but whatever. Holy crap, was his like facial express in this trailer. Like there's a Guy Gardner moment where he is cruelly laughing at someone, and it is 100% perfect. So I hate to keep getting my hopes up, but my hopes are sky high.
Well, what I'm really looking forward to, and so superheroes are most of them are inherently perfect. Like Superman's gorgeous, Wonder Woman's gorgeous, Batman's gorgeous. The mask comes off and they're all gorgeous and they're
Right.
all really smart. And like when you turn over their playing card on the Marvel, it always says Olympic level athlete over and over again.
Right.
The Olympics are really boring because all the ones who are best at it are superheroes. And so, but what James Gunn appears to be doing is like there's so many heroes that are like weird and
Right.
ugly and like just awe and mean. It's like Guy Gardner's a dick, and he always has been. He's
Yes.
terrible.
Ever liked Guy Gardner. I've
He's
always thought he was
awful.
an asshole.
Even when they make him like a human, like they show you more of his family. Like Jeff Johns really tried his best, and even he couldn't do it. When they added like his sister and his brother and his dad, they're all cops. Like everyone's a cop in the family, and it was Guy Gardner was like the middle kid, so it's like his brother, his dad, cop, brother, cop. Guy Gardner didn't want to be a cop. His sister, cop. And so like there's this like division between him and his family of they're like, we're all fucking cops. Like we wear the blue. And he's like, yeah, I wear green, but I do the same job. But like it's not good enough for them. And there's that distance. Even with all of that, he's still a monster. He's just the worst. Yeah. I would rather die on the trellis than have Guy Gardner save me. Just let me fall. I don't want this photo out there.
Yeah,
has Guy Gardner, has he become like a hate sink in DC Comics, or is he not quite like at that level?
Literally, we just mentioned it. This is so funny how comics are. Literally, he was the only character that was approved by DC Ups to kill in Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. He's of all the DC characters that get killed, it's one villain and Guy Gardner. Like he gets killed. So like, yeah, nobody likes him, but he's this legacy character. He instigates he does what a lot of Hal Jordan used to do. So when Hal Jordan first gets started in the 60s in his own series, he's the odd Earthman out. So when the Green Lanterns are like, hey, this is just how it's done, he's the one that's always breaking the rule, being like, that's not right. And then they always have to change the rule after the fact because he brought up like, oh, that wasn't right. And so they're like, okay, well, the Guardians are like, we'll rethink the policy. But that has largely gone to Guy Gardner now. Guy Gardner is everybody in the room is like, we have to stop this villain. He's being a villain. Guy Gardner's like, but what do we do about the thing that I'm mentioning right now? He's like expository. He gets the story moving by being contrarian. But after being contrarian and he served his purpose and the battle starts, he is the first bitch to get smacked down.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes him.
The reason why I asked that is because I remember that moment. Like, I don't read DC Comics. I do now. I didn't read those comics, or I haven't yet. But you don't get one punched as a hero if people don't fucking hate you. It just doesn't happen. So
it's true. Yeah. Why would you make them look like he get punched and he shits his pants? Like you hate this character. But yeah, okay. We can only kill one DC hero, Gardner. I'm using my ticket.
There's no hesitation.
Gardner.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
He's also like one that like no one's gonna go, oh, like if you're reading an event and they kill Guy Gardner. Bell just said, I'm weird. I'm a Guy Gardner fan. But like, be honest, if you were reading like a big event book, like this is in canon DC event, and like they kill Batman on like issue 2, you're like, whoa, what are you gonna do? Wow. You've never read a book where Guy Gardner got killed and they offshoot and you went, oh, I don't even know how they're gonna get a story out of this now.
Guy Gardner is like, strikes me as like, I think it's Cliff Jumper from Transformers, where like first episode every series Cliff Jumper fucking dies. Like, it's a given. It just happens.
And because I love Guy Gardner because of the One Punch, but that whole era when Keith Giffen was writing him in Justice League International, they didn't do a good job of humanizing him either. But I did like the way that they wrote him. So I was going to pull this one up next. There is a Crypto limited series coming out, and there's a new Supergirl. I think it's just ongoing. I've added both to my pull list already, even though I'm not adding.
That's exciting. I knew there was like, list. I knew because I have the way that I save variant covers is like when they pre-release a variant cover on eBay, I'll put it in my like save later cart. So even if they delete it, like I knew it was something that I was looking for at one point in time, and maybe I can find it really easy with some clicks. I knew there was like a one-shot crypto coming out. I did not know there was a limited series. Give me 4 issues of like crypto pulling out King Arthur's sword and other dumb shit like he used to do.
The cover, if I remember right, the one I saw, it has a copper tone type of homage to it, where crypto is pulling on.
It's Jay Lee.
Yes,
that's a Jay Lee cover.
Yeah, it. I don't know.
Before I forget, Brooklyn said something. Was it Brooklyn in the last video that we did together was asking to see my questions? Someone on your channel was asking to see my questions.
I think it was.
Because I dug them out just for you.
Awesome. Well, let's do that.
Yeah. I brought a ton of shit because I'm always the one that's like, I don't have anything. I brought a ton of shit. Boom. There's the first issue, not the reprint. The reprint is
yes, that's right.
Up
you
here,
didn't have
a big
this
circle with an M on it.
Right.
But that's my first one.
Awesome.
Let me see.
Very cool.
Does light help make it worse? We'll see. Let's figure it out.
With
this, it's a Mylar. It's being shitty.
It makes it worse. Yeah.
A little better. And then here we go. Not Mylar. This is okay. We're going out of order. So that was issue 1. So the question was a B character in the Blue Beetle stories with Ted Cord. So the new Blue Beetle gets his own series. This isn't even the new Blue Beetle's first appearance. His first appearance was in Captain Atom. But then it is issue 2. Question's not even on the cover. But this is the same series. All the B stories are the first appearance of the question. Issue 3, first appearance of Blue Beetle's like stupid villain, the Madman.
Yeah.
And still no question on the cover. Number 4.
That's a cool cover. I like that.
I mean, they're fine. He's pretty much like an isekai character. I'm mentioning anime a lot today. He's like a character who's like the guy who invented Blue Beetle has all the Blue Beetle stuff, and then this guy just like kind of finds it.
Right.
And
yeah.
Ted Cord. Issue 5 of the same series. Again, no question in the cover. We have to get all the way to the final issue in the series. They didn't sequence it number 6. They just called it featuring the Blue Beetle in the question. And this is the first time where their kind of dual serial box Nintendo and then in the 80s broke, and then they become in one story. And then they finally meet each other. So he's been a B character in the same universe as Blue Beetle, but they haven't met. And so to end their series, this is when they meet. And then you get my favorite title, no exaggeration, of any question comic. Mysterious Suspense number 1. And this is effectively the question number 1. All of these, he was a backup character and he had like a beeline story, but this is the first issue. This is Steve Ditko art. Ooh, there we go.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's a Steve Ditko. Mysterious Suspense. And this is his first individual issue. I've wanted to do a video on this book for a long time, but it's so good. I feel like I need to give it way more attention than I've been giving videos lately. I'm at the pace of like once a month. And then this is later in the 90s. They had like we're bringing them back, and they even have that same kind of homage, like red color that was persistent on all of the original issues. That red keeps showing up over and over again, and they even made the sky red. So like even the color on the issue is an homage to the original question books. But I remember, I think it was Brooklyn that wanted to see them, and I had to find them.
Yeah, it was him, and those are very cool. And I tried to put the question. I tried to find the question omnibus on through my library system, and it's not there. And a friend and we saw, I think it was like issue 2 through 20 in a dollar bin, and I left it there. I kind of regret it because I was like, I'm trying to find that in a collection.
You can find 2 through 20, and I can't remember which one is it. Is it 18 or 21? The one that it's the only one of that series that is worth any money because of it's the first time they bring Rorschach into the main DC continuity. The question's like having like a vision. He's like doing his like prayer thing where he's like centering himself, and he meets Rorschach, and up until that point, Watchmen had been its own universe.
Right. And I don't think that one was there. Like, you know, it was one of those things where like half price books, if you've ever been there and know what that is, like people dump their collection, they will pull out every key and they will throw all the rest, you know, into the bins. And once it's been in a bin for $2 or $3 for a while and it hasn't sold, then because they date everything, then it just goes into the dollar bins. And so my buddy and I, we go and dig those dollar bins because sometimes you actually find really good books for $1 just because everybody else passed on them.
So this is me telling stories out of school. I did a comic crawl, a 1-day comic crawl with Mike from Lunch Money Comics, and we went to like, I want to say we went to like 4 stores in 1 day, and every time we went to a store, we'd be at the like 20-minute mark, and he'd be like, "Well, let's move on," and I was like, "Homie, we just got started." And he would go look and he'd get more footage and he'd like be in the store and just like hanging out, and like he'd come over and be like, "Finding anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, you gotta dig, man." And like that ended up being probably one of the most profitable hauls for the both of us because we just dug through old stock. We found at the last store that we went to, we found a store that was like, this is our comic wall and it goes around the store. These are our comic boxes that you can dig through. But underneath all of this shelving is unmarked white storage boxes. You have no idea what you're going to get. And I was like, this is where I'm going to be for the next like 2 hours. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And so we started digging, and it was all pre-pandemic prices, and they were cutting us deals because we were effectively like cleaning their store for them. And so I got all of the Eagle Comics Judge Dredd books for $100.
Oh, that's great.
All of them.
That's great.
Most people sell that first issue for like $30 to $50 depending on quality, and $100 for all of them.
I mean,
wild.
There's a shop that regularly gets the Eagle stuff that I go to, and they usually want $5 to $7 an issue on those. So I'm always waiting for sales. But yeah, to find those is awesome. I want to ask you real quick, because of that massive dig that you went on, do you not have like good digging spots in your area for you to go? Are there shops or antique malls or stuff that you can find? This is the
best advice that I can give anybody who wants to get into actual digging for comic book stores. The best comic book store to dig in is the one that you can find, because nobody digs. Nobody. You'll hear in our chat like, I dig, but yeah, it's because you're a man of culture. You're here with us. You have a brain that works.
Yeah.
Most people don't. They go to a comic book store, they look at the wall books, they'll do this in like 1 or 2 titles at the ones that are available. They won't look in any like old backstock. Especially if it's in an inconvenient place. Like if they're like, "Oh, you have to move all of our toys," but yeah, you can, I guess. Perfect. I'll be there. You will find stuff that hasn't been priced in a million years. And then if you buy enough of it, like I find that once you hit increments of 100, stores will they'll cut you better deals. Like if you walk in and you have $50, nobody's going to cut you a deal. If you walk in and you're spending $100, they'll work with you. If you go in and you spend $200, they will work with you. And if you spend $300 or more, they're working for you. Like when me and Mike were at that point, we were pulling out stacks of books. I was like, my maybe pile was like ostensibly like $300. Like without counting it, it was insane. If you want to charge me $1 a book, my pile was enormous. And so I said, I really want those old American Judge Dredd re-releases, because they printed the stories in color. They reprinted the old black and white ones in color and sold it to Americans. But it's still official coloring and it looks beautiful. So it's the only way. It's like one of the only times I consider it like a remake that I'm like behind, because all they did was just color it. And I mentioned it, and then one of the store owners, there were like 3 owners, or an employee and 2 owners, but one of the owners overheard me, went out back, pulled them from different stock that I didn't have access to, and said, "Here, $100." And I'm like, done. So the more you spend, the more they'll work for you. So like dig, because nobody digs anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody digs anymore.
Well, that's what, talking about Heroes Con coming up this summer, and Eric Sidequest and I know are going to be laying on the floor of, people who brought their rando boxes that they're either just trying to offload, or maybe they brought it thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna sort this while I'm working." I have no problem just laying on the floor and pulling books. And that half price I like to go to has at least 30, but I think it's more than that, of these dollar bins, and they don't work with you on price. It's going to be $1 no matter what. But it's just, I just love to go in there about once a month and see what got added, because there's always something. There's always something
but
somebody missed.
If you get a big enough pile, right?
Yeah.
And then you tell them, I want $15 off for every 100 I'll spend, but I'll spend 300. Yeah, sure. Whatever. So
I'll
200.
try it.
Yeah. So they'll be like,
don't tell Mrs. Hall. Yeah.
255 for 300. Sure. But I'm leaving with, and I'm going to take a box. Like, I'm going to move some stuff around. I'm going to leave with a box as well.
Yeah.
They'll let you. But yeah, I've been noticing that, like, and I don't know if it's this younger generation, like, philosophically, not to change gears or nothing, but like, I don't know if kids they're into physical media because it's being bred out of them. Like, we're encountering our first generation of kids that only have ever known Netflix.
Right.
So then, like, to go from Netflix to, like, hey, here's a DVD that you can hold and own, and if you lose cable, or if you go to a cabin in the woods, you can watch it. And they're like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand the point. If I was in the woods, I'd just watch my cell phone. I don't know.
I can speak to it a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I teach 3rd grade, so my kids are 8 and 9 years old, my students. I really feel like when it comes to movies or shows, they don't get physical media. They don't get DVDs and Blu-rays. I mean, you know, Best Buy doesn't carry them anymore. I bet Walmart will not be far behind in ceasing to carry physical media, which is a shame, because, like you said, number one, like, power goes out, but number two, they delete stuff all the time. You know, you got Netflix and it's like, this is how I'm going to watch it. But they, you know, even their own produced shows, and HBO has been terrible about this lately. There was a show I really liked called Raised by Wolves that was just some really weird sci-fi, and it's just gone. There's, as far as I know, there's no Blu-rays of it, and it's not on HBO Max anymore. But kids do like books. They still like physical books, and it's different though. Like, I have a short box of comic books in my room, and in years past, every kid would have 2 or 3 comics on their desk that they, you know, for when they're done with their work, they can read. And now there's probably like maybe 2 or 3 kids in my class that will read a comic book, but every kid in my room will read they're like these manga-sized, put out by Scholastic, graphic novels for kids. There's different series. I saw John was in here from John's Comics with Kids earlier, and he did a book, or a video on this book series, Smile, Guts, Ghost. It's all by the same author. And it doesn't matter. Boys, girls, they'll all read it. So when we have the Scholastic Book Fair that still exists, kids love to pick out those kind of books. They still like, they still like Goosebumps. They still like Guinness Book of World Records, because they like gross out stuff. And they still like these comic book things, and they love the characters, but I don't see them go for comics, because I think that their consumption has changed somewhat. They want the full story. They don't want to be left, you know, tune in next week. They want to get the whole story in this thing. And
that's fascinating, because that's a holdover from radio, where they're only going to tell you one story. Tune in next week, because we got to make the bitch. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
And yeah, I wonder if anime, like, if manga sort of alleviates that, because, like, while there is an overarching story, like, you can get an arc in like 3 chapters. Like, it's really not that hard to do. And manga, some genres of it are literally just Japanese superhero stories. Like,
okay, I'm gonna make you a deal. I'm gonna make everybody in this chat a deal. I don't know how he's gonna determine the winner. Can't tell you, but we're gonna do a giveaway right now, if you'll indulge me.
Okay.
Can you make me big for a second?
Yeah.
So I've been getting really big into physical media. So I collect 4 things. I collect books, comic books, video games, and anime. I like owning my anime to the point where if I watch something digitally on Crunchyroll and I love it, I'll go buy the anime after, because I want to own it and support it independently of just having a Crunchyroll membership. So I've been doing some collecting of physical media lately, and it's all cool, because
Hagan, take over the controls. I'm trying to pull up a.
Yeah. When we were kids, or anyone in here, when we were young, we if you didn't know this about anime, so anime was a specialty product, and it would go to stores like sometimes Hot Topic, but like biggest offenders were like our FYEs, like specific DVD and music type stores, and anime was always expensive. So you'd see like, I know, well, I have it all though, so I kind of stopped. So what happens is the anime comes over and it's in the 90s, and one DVD would be like $30 and you'd get like 4 episodes. $30 in 1990 equates today to like $50. Would you pay $50 for 3 episodes of a VHS of Dragon Ball? Your boy did, because we didn't have any way of getting it unless you bought it from these assholes. So now that I'm an adult with real money, and the bottom has fallen out on physical anime media from the 90s. Everybody wants the Blu-rays, so the DVD box sets that I grew up pining over are now dirt cheap. So I collected Saint Seiya. This is Knights of the Zodiac. It's effectively Power Rangers if Power Rangers had a set of balls. And it's 120 episodes. This is the box set that I got. 120 episodes entirety. That's not the whole show. The DVD releases were so bad, they came out with a box set thinking we're going to come out with other box sets, but it didn't sell well. So then they said, we'll come out with individual DVDs. So then you go with that box set, this individual DVD, which is still sealed. Check out that shit. Uncut and uncensored. Anime. It's not for your little brother anymore. And then you go from those 2 DVDs to the final box set, Collection 2, which isn't even the end of the series because it kept going for 60 more episodes that you can only watch digitally because they never released them in the States. So it's frustrating. But this is effectively the whole of Saint Seiya that you can get. The other 60 episodes I just have to watch digitally and eat crow. Then I got these aren't anime. I'm just mentioning them because they're cool. We went to a bookstore that is completely volunteer based. Like they get in books and then everything goes to charity. So all the employees are volunteers. So they don't price anything competitively. So I got a Criterion collection of the Samurai trilogy for $3. Cause I guess I collect a bunch of samurai movies. Ran, I didn't own. Kira Kurosawa.
Wow.
But that was $1.50. What am I doing here? Then I have, okay, is that what I'm giving away? Hold on, I don't want to lose track of what I'm doing here. And then here we go. That's the one I'm giving away. But we'll do that last night.
Your first Supergirl, right?
Yeah.
Oh, first, yeah.
What is? I didn't see it.
No, we're just.
Oh yeah, what I'm giving away? Go to hell.
Yeah.
For $20, this is what I'm talking about. The bottom has fallen out of 90s anime DVD box sets. For $20, look at how beautiful this box set is.
Oh,
jeez.
Of X.
What?
This is
What
an
is
anime about there are dragons of Earth and the dragons of heaven. Dragons of heaven are the good guys. They say like humanity is a part of this planet and we should help them. Dragons of Earth are saying, no, reset the bitch, kill them all. And so it's these one guy in the middle who has all the power to decide, do I think humanity is trash or should we save them? And then they do it through anime fights and boys kissing. So
that's fair.
Sold.
For this is more modern. I just didn't own it, but I've been working on my collection lately. The complete 1997 series of Berserk.
Oh God, that is so damn.
I agree with you, K-Munin. Like for example, K-Munin's absolutely right. Like for example, Steins Gate, very popular show, came out in Blu-ray, where the Blu-ray was really gracious. It gave you the Blu-ray and it also gave you DVDs in the case, so that you could you got them both for the price of one. But like, if you want that series, and I think it's only like 28 episodes with the OVA maybe, but it's like $60. It's not cheaper than $60. You'll never get it for less than $60. So not great. And then I bought this one. This was $20. $20 for all of Evangelion.
Oh my God.
This is how it fell out, dude. This is a whole collection. $20.
Does that have the movies as well?
No, it doesn't have the movies. The seller sent me a bootleg of 111 and 222, like which is effectively like the second and third movie. There's all that. So then, oh, here we go. This was $100, but this came out and I knew it was limited and I knew it was going to go fast. This is the 30th anniversary of Yu Yu Hakusho. It's like, here's the deal. Here's how anime works. For those of you who don't know how anime works, let me explain it to you. Anime works in, if you ask someone, what's your favorite show? There isn't a wrong answer. Okay. There's no such thing as a wrong answer. But there's a culturally accepted answer. That's like some people will say like, okay, I disagree with you that that's the best show ever, but yeah, I can see how someone would arrive at that conclusion.
Tim Allen's Last Man Standing.
Tim Allen's Last Man Standing. Wild Hogs. Actually, I think it's just Tim Allen that makes good anime. Jungle to Jungle. Yeah, great anime.
Shaggy Dog. Fantastic anime.
Brilliant anime. But Yu Yu Hakusho is one of those acceptable answers. Like no one's gonna fight if you're in mixed company and they say what's your favorite anime of all time and you said Yu Yu Hakusho, no one's gonna fight you. It's the best shonen anime. It's the same guy that made Hunter x Hunter, and Hunter x Hunter is every anime, but Yu Yu Hakusho is every shonen, and it's the best shonen. Here's the last of it, and here's what I'm giving away. Season 1, season 1. Yep, this is what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm keeping because I have it all. Anime is so cheap right now on the whole. K-Moonin's right. Of course, there's always going to be outliers, but on the whole, the majority of it in DVD format in the 90s, the bottom's fallen out. You can spend $50 and get every episode 170 episodes of, Inuyasha. You know what I mean? Like you can get for crazy good prices. It was cheap. So I had volume 1 of a DVD. Like it was like a box set that I'm about to show you. I didn't have volume 2, but I had a couple loose DVDs of volume 2. It was cheaper for me to buy a completely duplicate set of 1 and 2 than it would be for me to just buy volume 2, the one that I needed. So I purchased volume 1 of Gantz, the box set, and volume 2, so I could have the complete series. This is a really, really dark series. It's science fiction, but it's very, very dark. But that left me with a double of volume 1 and the next 3 DVDs. You could get 2 more DVDs and complete the set. But to get a complete duplicate set was $15. Like with shipping, you must have made $4 off of me. Right. It's insane. So here's yes. Okay. So Gantz has seen it. And so I'm sorry, Gantz has seen it. K-Moonin's seen it. So he can attest to how brutal Gantz is. So
how does it compare to Berserk?
I would say a different branch on the same tree.
Okay.
A science fiction different branch on the same tree. It is just as dark in terms of like gross tones and themes, and even things that happen are very gross. Early on, things are very gross. But I have these, and I'm gonna leave it up to Nate. I don't know what he wants to do. Whether he wants to do it now, whether he wants to have some sort of like collection or whatever.
We can hashtag this right now. What are you giving away?
I'm giving away the Gantz Volume 1 set. And volumes 7, 8, and 9.
Are you doing both?
Yeah, the whole thing.
And one giveaway. Okay. All right. So
hashtag Gantz in my pants.
I was gonna do hashtag Ricky, but nope, we're doing Gantz in my pants. Gantz in my pants. All right. If you want a chance to win from Ricky, who's being very generous to give these away, please enter that hashtag in the chat right now. Do you have any regional limitations, my friend?
United States. Yeah, I'm not looking to send this to Australia. I'm still not convinced entirely it's a country.
I sent, well, it's got to be somewhere because I sent Dave from 35 cents some stuff, and the sticker shock for the shipping was something else. It was almost $80.
Especially now where like
And
Donald Trump has
now
to go through it himself.
it's going to be even worse. It's going to be even worse. Oh,
Why do
man.
the comic books have spray tan on them?
So far, only K Munin is entering the giveaway. There's 21 people
Brian
watching.
yes.
Come on. Oh, Brian.
Hey, who cares? That's the prize you get for being here.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I am not well versed in anime at all, but I have watched all of Berserk and just feel like sometimes I'm just like, I don't know where to go from there.
Matt likes comics. If you continental US, that's fine. If you want to join in, that's continental.
So you're saying
US.
Canada too?
Yeah.
Get in, Canadians.
Side quest is in. Get in here.
Matt, Robert, do it.
JSS, I disagree, but you're absolutely allowed to.
You absolutely can.
Yeah, you don't work for free and then not get nothing because you work. Sorry guys, I'm working for free.
Yeah.
I can't be in it. No, absolutely.
Get in there. JSS, get in there.
Yeah, for real. And then while we're doing this, because we'll do the second one a lot faster.
Okay.
I'm gonna defer to Hagan to come up with a better name. But because I got that Evangelion set was missing disc 2. It didn't have disc 2. But if someone wants them, I will also give away the 4 volumes of Evangelion. So if you want to get into the first 4 discs, so if you really want to get into Evangelion, you can watch the second disc on Netflix, but you can still put it on your shelf. But I'm gonna
go one more minute before I push the button. If anyone wants to get in, Gantz in my pants. There we go. Yeah, my boy Himbo.
Get some free Gantz. It is a science fiction show where people die and then they wake up in a room with a big black ball. And the big black ball says, I'm giving you temporary superpowers to go fight demons. But if you don't kill the demons, we will kill you. And they have no idea. Like, wait a minute, I can't escape from death, apparently. I got hit by a car and I wake up in this hellish nightmare. And then they have powers to go fight aliens, except they're monsters to each other. And it's very dark. It's very, very dark.
And I will say to K Munin, I've actually watched or started watching all 3 of those: Death Note, Attack on Titan, and My Hero.
Good shows.
Yeah,
My Hero fell off pretty hard.
Well, I was going to say Death Note started getting kind of repetitive. My wife and I were really watching it, binging it, and then it just started getting kind of repetitive, and we haven't gone back since.
Which one?
Death Note. Yeah, it kind of. I don't know. I just feel like it was just a whole lot of the detective constantly like, oh, I cannot let him know that I know. And then like, oh my God.
And then the potato chip scene's the best though. When he's like, he knows he's being watched by cameras in his bedroom while he's like doing an investigation. And he says like, but to the people watching the camera, I'll just take a potato chip and eat it. Oh, but he's like,
it's so over the top.
What just happened? That show's crazy.
All right. Well, here we go, y'all. Let's see who's getting Ricky's anime. There we go.
Side quest. Okay. Send your information to Nate's Instagram where you need this shipped, and then he will pass it to me. Or you can reach out to me directly on Instagram, Ricky Cadabra. Either way, that's perfectly fine. I'll know who it's going to. I think even SideQuest Comics, I think your icon's exact same on Instagram too.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you had another one?
Yep. Yeah. Run the Evangelion one too.
Okay. Daddy issues.
Awesome.
Daddy issues. Yeah, that's good.
It was either going to be daddy issues or shit G, and you're a teacher, so
we'll go with daddy issues. Yeah,
I'm doing it like they do on what's that? The shitty website where everybody buys comics. That one, the live auctions.
Whatnot
is what
there. It is.
Talking about.
I mean,
I'm literally writing.
What's up, guys? We just got a new all foil virgin variant drop today. I've only got 3 of them. We're gonna start at $200 a piece.
Yeah.
I got the new Daredevil packs. I'm gonna rip them open.
Hi guys, my wife is crying in the background, but I need to be here so we can keep the light on. Up next, we've got this limited edition pack of Pokemon. Do you want to rip it or ship it?
Yeah. I mean, I do not watch anything that goes like that. That is for sure.
Yes, I'm hungry.
All right.
Run it.
Here we go. Oh, we got another one. We got more people
yeah.
jumping in. More people want the Evangelion.
It's a great, man. It's like, that's one of those answers. If you say, what's your favorite anime of all time? Evangelion. No one's they're going to call you boring, in fact, because it's such an easy answer. It's so good.
Yeah, it is really good is the thing.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And then especially now with how he's like changed and the revisions that he's done, it's really special. It's a special story.
Awesome.
And I was
Laura, wrote them both down.
My wife and I were watching Shin Godzilla. And the same guy who did Shin Godzilla did Evangelion. And there was a moment, there are a couple of moments, what's the music from Evangelion? One of the music stings from Evangelion kicked in, and she and I both like shot up in the couch. Like, that's the music from the other thing.
They knew what they were doing.
Well, yeah, because it immediately like made my heart start like palpitating. I was like, "Oh fuck, this is about to get really bad. It's not going to be good."
All right, we're gonna run this one.
Do it. Who's getting some Ava? Big Nasty.
Big Nasty. So
same deal. Send me a message on Instagram. I'm actually dropping something off for Hagan tomorrow as well. So I'm going to be at the store anyway.
Cool. And yeah, Kate, welcome. Good morning. Well, that was really cool of you to do, Ricky.
It's literally either going here or in my basement where I will eventually bring it to Goodwill. And I hate those assholes. So no, you're doing me a favor.
I don't take anything to them anymore.
Yeah, they're trash.
I'm over it. Like that there's nothing good to pick up, and they are taking advantage of what they do.
Yeah.
Pro tip, if there is a hospice palliative care center, sometimes nearby there is a hospice thrift store, and that's where I donate all of my stuff. And that's where I go thrift shopping, because their prices are better than Goodwill, because Goodwill for some reason has decided that used pants are worth $20 and fuck them. That's insane.
Well, I mean, I drew the line at finding out that like their business model is to hire people with disabilities so that they can appear like they're helping with the community, and it's great, but the amount that they pay them is not comparable to a normal employee. So they're almost like saying like, we're hiring a fifth a person and we're paying them a fifth of the wage. And then they are also getting a stipend from the government that they could pass on to that person's paycheck, but they don't, they keep it.
Right.
So they're paying. So next time you go there and you see someone with like a disability that they hired, that person's getting paid like $850, and then they're getting paid by the government a bunch of money. It's not great. It's not a great look, but it's their business model. It's how, and now they're like, oh, let's just charge whatever we want for clothes, and everybody's going to eat it because we're charity monsters.
Oh, that's fascinating. I didn't know that. So I will
They're
sure
ghoulish.
not be going back to Goodwill.
Yeah. Look them up. Like it's actually ghoulish.
We stopped going there, well, a couple years ago, but it's just, I mean, I will still go walk through sometimes, but they even stopped my dad would go for their senior discount. And they even stopped doing that. It's like they're getting all this money and they're not even helping people anymore. Like not well.
It's what it would look like in a dystopia if we privatized trash collection. Like fully, like not like now where it's like a municipality hires a company to handle it. Like as if it was fully privatized, it would look like Goodwill. All of your trash would go to low paid workers sifting through your garbage and putting it on shelves.
And you don't even get the excuse of like like with Walmart, you can pretend like prices are getting higher because products are getting like better quality. They're not, but you can pretend like they are.
Yeah.
Goodwill, it's the same level of like almost doesn't work all the time.
I have to. I'm sorry. I have to admit, full disclosure. I forgot. I do this every year for my students.
Bye, Matt.
I do go to Goodwill. See you, Matt. And I pick up enough mugs for every kid, like random mugs. I love to find like coffee mugs that have weird pictures or someone else's name on it. And
You're
do
drinking
like
out of a Rhonda mug right now.
And this was one that I picked up that I refused to give to the kids. I mean, Universal Studios, it has the name Rhonda on it. I was like, this one's going in my own collection. But it's just so funny to see an 8-year-old boy open up World's Greatest Grandma and kind of get upset about it, but then at the end there will be a big trade, like, okay, now you can trade with each other, but you don't have to trade with anybody. And because I will laugh so hard at the World's Greatest Grandma or whatever it is, that becomes the coveted one, that becomes the one that now then I start this whole like war where they're trading slime and erasers and all kinds of stuff to get the one. And it's so yeah, I give them like $25 a year because their mugs are $1.
Good for you indoctrinating children into the barter economy. Good for you.
They gotta know.
It's just a fun way to do consumerism Christmas. I do, coming up here, I've got some Mother's Day plans, so I'm ready to start winding down. But is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Ricky? No.
Like you mean okay? It's gonna be within the next like few weeks that my I'm shooting for like literally like I hope he's done next week. For my book. My second book is coming out. It's called Something Awful, and it's not awful, but it's called Something Awful. It is a guy who's living in a small town in northern New Hampshire. He is a retired serial killer, and he's raising his daughter. And no one knows. He got away. He moved on with his life. He built a new life for himself with this little girl that he loves so much, and he's put it all behind him. And he's living a life. He works at a grocery store, and a brand new young 16-year-old serial killer comes to town and sets his sights on his daughter. Not because he wants to hurt his daughter, but because he wants to get to him. He wants camaraderie. He wants commiseration. And so he's courting the daughter as much as he is the father. And so can this retired serial killer save his daughter from the man he used to be? That's like my dust jacket quote.
Good Lord.
So my it's completely done. I'm going through the PDF formatting right now. The formatting's already done, but you have to read through one more time. Like, for example, literally on Friday, I found he was saying like it's brutal in here with the summer heat was like the line, but it's brutal in here with the summer here instead of HEAT.
Yeah.
I found so far in 60 pages, I found one, but you want those squashed.
Right.
It's against your ego as a creative to let that shit hit the final product.
So you do your own editing, proofreading?
No, God, no, okay. No, you have to pay. This is so you write the book. That's your first draft. You put it aside. You go clear your head. You come back. You read it again. Now you have to pretend like you knew what you were doing the whole time. Right. So now you're cleaning things up, and maybe a chapter goes, maybe a character goes, maybe two characters become one character, but you're going through the second time with reckless abandon. Then you read it a third time after you take another little break. Then you pay someone about $1,500 to read through it and find things that are either inaccuracies or, hey, you mentioned it was in their left hand, but then it's the right hand. You pay someone to do all that editing because you can't see your own work that way. It comes back to me. I make the changes. I send it back, pay them again. And then it comes back and I make the final changes. Then I put it into a PDF file. And then I have my PDF file where I'm reading it like a book. And then I go through and I trying to find any of those little bugs. You're not changing the story anymore. There's no more of that type of editing. So this is technically the 7th draft is what I usually hit.
Sure.
But my cover artist has the cover's done. And now I've already purchased the barcode and the ISBN. And so I had to send him the barcode because then he photoshops it onto the book cover. And then my text for what the back of the book says, he photoshops that on. He's also doing the title. But he's getting that back to me. He said he's going to get it back this week. So literally as it comes in, I finalize my PDF, and then I'm submitting everything to Kindle Booker, and then that's where you upload it, and then bing, bang, boom, book comes out.
And will there be a physical of this one?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So the way that it works now, and even if you're like, let's pretend you're Sean Hannity, like, you're hawking whatever.
I'd rather not. But
I'd rather not if it's all the same to you.
Let's pretend
Hannity's a hell of a pull, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I use him as an example is because the way that modern publishing works now is your book isn't physically sitting in a warehouse unless you're Stephen King.
Right.
Your book is someone buys the book, they click, like my book right now, the Amazing Mrs. Cadabra, is on Amazon. It's not in a warehouse. If you go, there it is. If you go to Amazon and you purchase the book, they print the bitch and then shoot it off to you. So they're almost like made to order. And so from me all the way up to someone like a Sean Hannity who doesn't have a warehouse full book, it's the exact same deal. So like, is it physical? Yes. But like, you click it and then they make it, and then it shows up at your house. But yeah, so I'm hoping he's doing some stuff with his daughter, and I think his dog just got sick this weekend. So like the last updates that I got, because it's a friend that does this cover stuff. So I'm hoping by next weekend, but like literally as soon as it arrives at my house, it's just like upload, click, 24 hours. I order a test copy. They send it to my house. It says like, this is a test. I can see like, okay, is it a goddamn book? That's the one I give my wife to read. And then it's off to the races.
And are you gonna like announce on your channel when it's ready to order?
I'll do I have a whole video planned where I want to make the argument that like anyone who's into comic books is a storyteller. Not everybody's a writer, but you can be a writer if you just write. So like, if you've ever left a Marvel movie and you're in the parking lot and you say like, that shit made no sense, here's why it didn't make sense. Or if you say that shit didn't make sense, here's how they could have done it and it would have fixed it. You're storytelling. All you'd have to do is go home, change the character names, and then all of a sudden you're writing your own original story. Bing, bang, boom. Yeah. It's a great way to practice. Like, retell Spider-Man your damn self. The only difference between a storyteller and a writer is that you're not writing. So like, if there's I find that storytellers also all secretly want to be writers. Like, oh, my favorite X-Men story would include this, this, and this. And you're like, keep going. you're literally writing in front of me right now. Yeah. So like, I want to make an encouraging video of being like, it's not a magic trick. It's just a lot of hard work. It's 7 drafts. And a lot of thinking and a lot of hard work. I do it like literally at my job.
That's what people don't have. Like, they don't have a handle on the work of writing something, like the craft of going through the drafts and things. Like, I think a lot of people think that you sit down and write a book, and that when it's done, you do it.
Sure. Yeah. So like, formatting alone, like if you pick up any book in your house, doesn't matter which one, and you see like, that is not how it looks on a Word document.
Right.
But you don't think about that. But like, the fact that on one page is the name of the chapter and the other page is the name of the author. And the fact that like every page ends with a blank space and then the next page is another chapter. Like, all those little things, the flipping ISBN number on the inside. So I registered with the Library of Congress that my book exists. All of the barcode, you got to buy a barcode. Like, how does that work? So like, once you learn all these little steps, it like the mask comes off and you're like, oh, it really is just me sitting at a computer getting my shit together.
Yeah, it stops it from being like an amorphous like mountain that you have to climb and turns it into just steps.
Yeah, just do it. And so like, I'm not one of those people who's like, I wrote a book because I'm special. I'm like, I wish my dream, my monkey paw wish is I wish everyone would write their goddamn book, because I meet people and I enjoy them so much. They make me laugh. I enjoy their personalities. And like, a book is a great way to like learn about a person. Like, what did you care so much about that you sat in a chair for 1,200 hours?
Is there going to be like a link to pre-order it, or
not pre-order? Like, literally, I'm going to be doing the rounds once it comes out. I'll be like popping on everybody's channel to be like, hey, my new book is out. I'll be doing a video myself. Hey, my new book is out. My wife is actually. So here's the deal. I am the worst person in the world about like self-promotion. And this is the worst hobby to have if you don't like self-promotion. Mm-hmm. I know Hagan did a video like that a little while ago about like, how do I ask you to subscribe to me? Like, how this is awkward. Like me standing here and asking you to do me a favor and hit a button. It is awkward. But
It is.
when I was talking to my wife, she was like, okay, so then what? And I was like, okay, I emailed everything to Ty. He's working on the cover. As soon as I get it, I can upload it. She goes, and then what? And I was like, and then it comes out, and she's like, and then what? And I was like, oh, and then I promote it. And she's like, there you go. Like, you gotta tell people.
Come back on, and we'd be more than happy to help you with that. Because I'm very excited.
Yeah, side quest, like same deal.
I will say, like, this. Okay, I'm going to tell you the truth. I did not finish, not because I was not loving it. Last year, David Garage Geek and I said it was over the summer, and I had started reading this, and he was like, "Oh, I have it. Let's book club it." So we picked a stopping point, and I got to there, and because he and I are both teachers with poor time management skills, we never did the book club. Like, I stopped where we were going to start talking. Like, we picked our chunks. I'm just going to say, like, this is very good. It's very good. And it was, you said that this is more of a young adult, but I mean, I didn't feel like it was necessarily simple at all. But I really liked this. So The Amazing Mrs. Cadabra is on Amazon now. If you want to read something that Ricky wrote,
yeah, for some, like, okay, the search algorithm blows, so you have to type out The Amazing Mrs. Cadabra and then add my name, like Ricky. Or you just type in Ricky and it'll come up, like Amazing Mrs. Cadabra Ricky. But like, I did not sell enough copies for me to like affect the algorithm. So like, there are other books that have like amazing. You'll get Amazing Mrs. Maisel before it shows you my book.
I am seeing if I can pull that up right now so we can drop a link. Or are you doing the same, Hagan?
I've got a link, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you go ahead and you're faster.
I mean, I love writing and it's so fun. And I don't want to be that guy to be like, it's something that makes me special. It isn't. It's something that we could all do. And it is so cathartic. And you can like really talk about what you want wrapped in a narrative. And it's so, because then you don't feel like you're preaching. And it's just so fun. And it's a fun way to express yourself. And now it's never been easier. So like, anybody that's ever like, oh, I also like to write, I'm like, hell yeah, let's get it out there. What do you need to do? So I try to encourage people as much as I can.
Yeah, I want you to come back on here or a Tuesday show or something and talk about like some specifics. And I'm sure you're going to put that into your video as well. But like, you know, what word processor program or whatever that you, the whole schmear. So very cool. I'm excited about that. And summer is coming up. So maybe this year, David and I can do our book club on The Amazing Mrs. Cadabra. That would be a lot. I mean, I really wanted to.
Sure. I mean, the next book will be out. So like, if horror, and it's like thriller, suspensey horror. So if that's more your speed.
Yeah, I love the idea. Like what you just gave us, the back of the jacket is that appeals to me. I like that. Just a couple of things that are coming up. So Tuesday, 8 p.m. with the FOMO squad. All of us talking about nonsense and looking at Wednesday's books. That's always a lot of fun. Shockingly to me, on Wednesday, I get to interview Mark Russell, which is just, oh my God.
Dude, that's huge.
Dude, I'm dying. I am dying. I have written 2 pages of questions, and I know I can't ask them all, but I can't stop like coming up with stuff. So he is one of my favorite writers, like that's working today. I'm stoked. It's huge. You're right. It's huge. I am very excited. So that's going to be Wednesday at 8 p.m. So please come jump in the chat if you can and give me moral support, because I'm nervous. And and then next week we are going to be hosting Brian LCS on the Sunday Comic Book Hangover show on Hagan's channel, and we can talk to him. They just did a video announcing the CBC awards and all of that stuff, so we can get more deets on that and talk to him about the changes they made and why they changed them. So that's today's show. Ricky, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Well, I put it in the comments, but for people who don't know, like Hagan and I met on Ricky's channel. Like,
Weird.
you're the one that set us up.
Weird.
And it was after that that we just started kind of messaging each other. We realized we had a lot of like, we just vibed well, and we liked to hang out, and it was just, yeah. So thank you for that. Thanks for making us internet best friends.
And thank you for like the very first time that I ever had a comic book conversation that was two ways was on your channel, because you invited me to a live stream for like Marvel supervillains or something like that. The tier list of supervillains, because it wasn't just Marvel. But yeah, that was the first time I had ever had a two-way conversation about comic books with another human being. And that was really, really cool.
Now, not gonna lie, like that, what you guys just said is like one of like literally my highlights of doing this stupid hobby. Like just hearing that like something cool in my life happened because like you made a stupid video about comic books. And so like if you haven't yet, I really hope you guys get to experience what I'm feeling right now, because it feels really good.
Dude, so like it was watching a lot of comic book YouTube, and I think I've told you this before. But it was you made a video that said basically like write your book, but it was go ahead, make a YouTube channel and talk about something. And
come on in, the water's fine. Because I even took a clip of that and put it like in my very first video. I was like,
and he sent me a message on Instagram and was like, if you don't like it, I will destroy the negative. I will never speak your name again. And I was like, dude, go for it. Of course.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is like, you know, not to keep droning on about the community. I did. This is my real life buddy. Got him into Big Sur, Flash villain. But you know, I made a few videos and sent you a message on Instagram, and you invited me on. Like, I think a lot of people on here, like it's comfortable to reach out and to talk to each other. And yeah, you were my jumping in point. So I love hanging out with you.
Big
anytime.
B McFly. Big B McFly was mine.
I love Big B.
He was like my uncle. Like I told him that, and he got like surprisingly emotional, which was really nice. Yeah. We were at Terrificon, and I was like, "You're like," I look at you like the uncle of the group. Like he kind of like pulled everybody. I met Mike through him. Aw,
yeah. No, I mean,
this is so nice.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that, you know, we talk about our comic book, Hagan and I, our comic book holy trinity, if you will. And for me, it's you, Mike, and Brandon from Mon Comics. Those were the three that I watched that I felt like, yeah, I have something to say. I'm not copying what they're doing. Like, I have my own things, but I like the way they're doing things. And that's what made me think that I could do it too. And then you literally told me to do it in a video. So I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad we were able to spend Mother's Day talking about the men in our lives.
Yes.
It's really nice.
Well, isn't mother a concept more than anything else?
Yeah. What is even a mother?
You are a very mothering presence.
Wasn't that a YouTube video? What is a mother? Didn't that,
I think yeah.
Yeah, there was a Daily Wire movie that came out.
Oh, yeah.
What is a mother?
Yeah, what is it even? Can't it be a father?
Where's the Father's Day?
And on that note, everybody. Thank you to everybody in the chat for being here. JSS, thanks for being the wrench today and doing what you do, brother. This was
Ricky
a lot of
Cadabra on Instagram. Send me if you won. Send me the address.
If you won, find him on Instagram. Send him a message. If you can't
or
make
through
it
Nate,
happen,
it doesn't
send
matter.
it to
I'll
me.
get it either way.
I'll make sure it happens. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. We will see you in the next one. And bye-bye.